pradera va musicando sus quejas con su flautín de carrizo, seguido por sus ovejas como si fuera un hechizo. Everybody, jujuya, jujuya. El flautín del pastor que a la real canta así. It's time for the sunset. Everybody coming back after a long journey, working to make sure that everybody is taken care of, providing food, providing what we need in this beautiful world. United. El pastor ya va de vuelta, pues el sol se está ocultando, va subiendo por la cuesta para guardar su rebaño. Con su flautima llamando una a sus ovejas y les va comunicando sus dones y sus tristezas. Everybody, uhuya, uhuya. Who sings here? Can you do falsetto with me? With the E? Ready? Just go with the flow. Ready? Okay. In this set. El flautín. Del pastor que a la real canta así. A big round of applause to my beautiful mariachi musicians, Paul Alcántar and Beatriz Martinez. And before the press conference, I would like to everybody sing, ay, 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 ay. And I know this is our favorite from our senator, so Markey, because he always makes me sing it. So now I am ready for you. And I know Mayor will also love this song, and everybody loves, right? Everybody, ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Ready? And if you know it, sing it or not. De la sierra morena, cielito lindo, bien. Everybody, ¡Acúa! Ese lunar que tienes, cielito lindo, junto a la boca. Come on, sing along. No se lo des a nadie, cielito lindo, que a mí me toca. Louder, come on. Ese lunar que tienes, cielito lindo, junto a la boca. No se lo des a nadie, cielito lindo, que a mí me toca. Everybody, loud and strong. Ay, 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 ay. Canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Come on, louder. Ay, 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 ay. Canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Come on. Ay, 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 ay. Canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Ay, 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 ay. Canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Thank you very much, everyone, and love, peace, and a lots of empathy for everyone. We love you, Mr. Mitchell Will.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, come on, do better than that. Good morning, everyone. I want you to look at your neighbor, shake your neighbor's hand and say, I'm glad I'm here. Tell another neighbor, we stand as one Boston. Come on, say it louder. We stand as one Boston. I'm Reverend Jeffrey Brown. I am the associate pastor of the historic 12th Baptist Church in Roxbury, the co-founder of My City at Peace, and Mayor Wu has given me 1 minute as a Baptist preacher to say what's on my heart. I want Attorney General Pam Bondi to look at this. We are the safest city in Boston because of all of us, because of our diversity. Come on, somebody. Because we practice equity. Come on, somebody. And because of our striving to be inclusive, we have come together to stand with our mayor, Mayor Michelle Wu, to tell the Attorney General and her boss that we are doubling down as who we are as one Boston. It is because of our diversity that law enforcement and community members were able to partner and to work in our neighborhoods to make this city safer. It was parents, and it was ministers, and it was community workers, and it was youth workers, and it was law enforcement that joined hands and said, we want our Boston to be safe for everybody. And since I only have 15 seconds left, want to say to those in Washington, D.C., we are doubling down. We are not giving up on who we are. We will not compromise. We are one Boston.
Give it up for my friend, Reverend Jeffrey Brown of the historic 12th Baptist Church. Good morning, everyone. Look at our beautiful city and all of our neighbors. Look at our beautiful greater Boston region standing here today. We have a number of speakers today, but I want to recognize so many who are standing here in solidarity, even though we don't have time for everyone to speak. I want to recognize the many, many leaders who have taken time out of their days, serving their communities, to be here and stand not only with the city of Boston, not only with the residents of Boston, but residents of cities across the country who are standing up for who we are and what we are fighting for. So I want to name these elected officials by name, so you know who is here. You will hear shortly from Senator Ed Markey. You will hear shortly from Chairman and State Representative Aaron Michaelwitz, representing the state. You will hear shortly from City Council President Luen. And we're also joined by Boston City Councilors Liz Braden, Enrique Pepin, Henry Santana, Ben Weber, Gabriela Coletta Zapata, Julia Mejia, Brian Worrell, Sharon Durkin, we are joined by Chelsea Town Manager Fidel Maltes. We are joined by Lynn Mayor Jared Nicholson. We thank Melrose Mayor Jennifer Grigoritis. Somerville Mayor Katiana Ballantyne. And Worcester Mayor Joe Petty for standing with us here in Boston. I want to recognize Register Stephanie Everett. And I'm sure I'm missing some folks who have joined us, but which Henry? I said Councilor Henry Santana, but double shout out to Councilor Henry Santana. And I want to emphasize, it's been a little bit of time, but when I was down in DC saying some similar things, it was our city council, led by Council President Luen and Councilor Julia Mejia, who ensured that our residents would gather here today back then on the same spot and stand up for our communities as well. So I want to thank them for showing up once again. We're here again today because last week, Boston received a letter from the Attorney General of the United States on official letterhead from the federal government threatening to prosecute city officials and withhold federal funds unless we cooperate with carrying out mass deportations. At a time when this federal administration is already causing so much fear and harm in our communities, these threats are serious and consequential. But our same communities have told me loud and clear that silence in the face of oppression is not an option. The U.S. Attorney General asked for a response by today. So here it is. Here is our response. Stop attacking our cities to hide your administration's failures. Unlike the Trump administration, Boston follows the law. And Boston will not back down from who we are and what we stand for. We will not back away from our community that has made us the safest major city in the country and a leading example of why cities around the country make this country safer, healthier, and more prosperous for all Americans. To all the federal officials attacking communities that embody diversity, creativity, and moral clarity, we mayors said this in DC nearly 6 months ago, and I'll say it again today. You are wrong on the law and you are wrong on safety. Most of all, you are wrong on cities. The cities that live in your minds are totally foreign to the residents living in our cities. And we are picking up the pieces of your failures to deliver on your promises. Under the Trump administration, groceries are less affordable. Housing is harder to build. Cures for cancer are farther away. And good news on our economy has been as hard to find as the Epstein list. But as always, cities are doing everything we can to protect our residents and keep moving forward. While you are cutting healthcare and food assistance for our families, Boston has launched new coalitions to connect residents to fresh food, stable housing, and job training to build healthy, long lives. While you attempt to unlawfully cancel grants for our schools and roads, we funded 10,000 paid summer jobs for our young people, opened 1,000 new seats in free, high-quality early education classrooms for our littlest learners, fixed more than 27,000 potholes, and repaved more than 80 miles of city streets. While you're slashing funding for our universities, hospitals, and research institutions, Boston is building pathways to community college and UMass Boston, joining with industry to train hundreds of residents for careers in life sciences and clean energy, and partnering with our city's largest employers to double the size of our health careers high school. While you deploy military personnel to occupy American streets, we are building community safety. Our police don't have to hide their faces. Boston police do not hide their faces because they are members of our community. Our officers keep us safe by getting to know our residents, not working to remove them. Back in June, the city of Boston filed a Freedom of Information request with ICE, demanding the bare minimum of transparency from our federal government. ICE talked a big game, promised that they would get us information, and it's been 2 months without any answers. So today, we will file a formal appeal, insisting that ICE produce the public records we asked for, and we're prepared to take additional legal steps if they continue to refuse transparency. Over the last several months, we've watched Donald Trump send the National Guard into LA and DC to stoke fear and disorder. Boston stands with these cities as they sue over his abuse of power. We have reviewed those cases, and we are prepared to stand up for our city's rights if we need to. Your attacks all come back to a common aim. The Trump administration seeks to divide, isolate, and intimidate cities and make Americans fearful of one another. But Boston is proof of something far more powerful than lies and intimidation. That safety and community come from loving your neighbor as yourself. Attorney General Bondi, we are gathered here today to show you who we are in Boston. More than 100 years before your home state was founded, Bostonians were across the street in Faneuil Hall, setting the foundation for our democracy and rule of law.
Yeah.
100 years before that, Bostonians were founding the first public school and public park in the country. This has always been a city of revolution, of innovation, of standing up for the public good, and never bowing down to tyranny. With me today, our fellow public servants and veterans, public safety and faith leaders, civil rights advocates and labor union members, teachers and business owners, entrepreneurs and artists, youth and seniors. This is our city. This is our country. And I'm so proud and grateful to show the world who our community is here in Boston and what we're made of. Cities aren't a threat to America. They fuel the American dream. They bring us together. Great cities make our country great. Boston will never back down from being a beacon of freedom and a home for everyone. Otra vez un poco en español para nuestros vecinos latinos. Buenos días. La semana pasada, Boston recibió una carta del fiscal general de los Estados Unidos con el sello oficial del gobierno federal, amenazando con procesar a funcionarios municipales y retener fondos federales si no cooperamos con las deportaciones masivas. En un momento en que esta administración federal ya está causando tanto miedo y daño en nuestras comunidades, esas amenazas son graves y trascendentales. Pero nuestras mismas comunidades me han dicho alto y claro que el silencio ante la opresión no es una opción. El fiscal general de los Estados Unidos solicitó una respuesta para hoy, así que aquí está. Dejen de atacar nuestras ciudades para ocultar los fracasos de su administración. A diferencia de la administración Trump, Boston cumple la ley. Y Boston no cerrará en su compromiso con quienes somos ni con lo que representamos. No nos alejaremos de la comunidad que nos ha convertido en la ciudad más segura del país en un ejemplo destacado de por qué las ciudades hacen de este país un lugar más seguro, saludable y próspero para todos los estadounidenses. A todos los funcionarios federales que atacan a las comunidades que representan la diversidad, la creatividad y la claridad moral. Los alcaldes les dijimos esto en Washington, D.C. hace casi 6 meses y lo repito hoy. Se equivocan en cuanto a la ley, en cuanto a la seguridad. Sobre todo, se equivocan en cuanto a las ciudades. Las ciudades que viven en sus mentes son totalmente ajenas a los residentes que viven en nuestras ciudades. Y estamos recogiendo los restos de sus fracasos en el cumplimiento de sus promesas. Bajo la administración Trump, los alimentos son menos asequibles, la vivienda es más difícil de construir, las curas para el cáncer están más lejos y las buenas noticias sobre nuestra economía han sido tan difíciles de encontrar como la lista de Epstein. Pero como siempre, las ciudades estamos haciendo todo lo posible para proteger a nuestros residentes y seguir adelante. Mientras despliegan personal militar para ocupar las calles estadounidenses, nosotros construimos la seguridad comunitaria. Nuestros policías no tienen por qué ocultarse porque son miembros de nuestra comunidad. Nuestros oficiales nos mantienen seguros conociendo a nuestros residentes, no trabajando para expulsarlos. En junio, presentamos una solicitud amparada en la Ley de Libertad de Información ante del ICE, solicitando la mínima transparencia posible a nuestro gobierno federal. Han pasado 2 meses y la agencia aún no nos ha enviado respuestas. Por lo tanto, hoy presentaremos una apelación formal insistiendo en que el ICE presente los registros públicos que solicitamos y estamos dispuestos a tomar medidas legales adicionales si continúan negándose a nuestra solicitud. Durante los últimos meses también hemos visto a Trump enviar la Guardia Nacional a Los Ángeles y Washington, D.C. para sembrar el miedo y el desorden. Boston apoya a estas ciudades en sus demandas por su abuso de poder. Hemos revisado estos casos y estamos dispuestos a defender los derechos de nuestra ciudad si es necesario. Todos sus ataques tienen un objetivo común. La administración Trump busca dividir, aislar e intimidar a nuestras ciudades y hacer que los estadounidenses se teman unos a otros. Fiscal General Bondi, nos reunimos hoy para mostrarle quiénes somos en Boston. Me acompañan hoy compañeros, servidores públicos y veteranos, líderes religiosos y de seguridad pública, defensores de los derechos civiles y sindicalistas, maestros y empresarios, emprendedores y artistas, jóvenes y adultos mayores. Esta es nuestra ciudad. Y estoy muy orgullosa y agradecida de mostrarle al mundo quiénes somos y de qué estamos hechos. Las ciudades no son una amenaza para Estados Unidos. Impulsan el sueño americano. Nos unen. Las grandes ciudades hacen grande a nuestro país. Boston nunca dejará de ser un faro de libertad y un hogar para todos. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to turn it over to Senator Ed Markey, followed by Council President Ruthie Luen and Chairman Aaron Michaelwitz.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Wu. Thank you, Boston Police, for making Boston the safest city in the United States of America. Mayor Wu and the Boston Police do not need Donald Trump or his National Guard to tell them how to make Boston the safest city in our nation. They are already doing it. They can teach lessons to Donald Trump and to ICE as to how to best police this country. They are, in fact, abusing the constitutional rights of Americans. They are invading cities across this country, and Boston does not need the help of Donald Trump, does not need the help of ICE, does not need the help of the National Guard to come here. They are already doing the job. So we are here today to stand up to Donald Trump's authoritarianism. And it's no surprise that Trump and his MAGA Republicans want to pick a fight with our hard-working state and local leaders, especially here in Boston, for their political theater, because that's all that it is. Trump has set his sights on Boston, on Massachusetts, and on our way of life. Trump has attacked our universities, sought to kneecap our economy of brain power, unlawfully withheld federal funds, terrorized our hardworking members of our community. His authoritarian tactics are meant to squash dissent, to dehumanize our immigrant communities, and to spread fear and cruelty. What Trump hates is the very DNA of Boston, from Roxbury to Dorchester, from East Boston to Mattapan. Our neighborhoods and have their own rhythms, and they add to the city's song. That's why he fears it, because you cannot silence this heartbeat. You cannot erase this rhythm without trying to rip out the very soul of Boston and America itself. And since taking office, Trump has tried to push this shining city on the hill downward. I urge President Trump to read the United States Constitution. The 10th Amendment forbids the president from strong-arming states and cities to use their own money and police to carry out Trump's agenda of terror. It is a violation of the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Trump wants the city of Boston, Mayor Wu, to bow to his dream of absolute power. But today, we are here to say Boston will not bow down. Today, we are here to say that Massachusetts will not be bullied. I know that Mayor Wu and Boston's leaders are working hard to keep Boston the safest city in our country, to uphold state and local laws, and to treat the immigrant community with the dignity and respect which it deserves. We will continue. I will continue to stand solidly with Mayor Wu, solidly with the city of Boston, solidly with the immigrant community in the city of Boston, which makes Boston greater every single day. We are going to put the Constitution ahead of Donald Trump's callous disregard for the rule of law. 250 years ago, right here, a half a mile away at the Old Knot Church, a revolution began. A revolution that made it very clear that we would throw off the dictates of a king who harassed and oppressed the residents of Boston. We're going to do it again with this wannabe king. Just like then, Boston is going to rise. Massachusetts will rise, and together we will remind him that we have no kings in Boston, or Massachusetts, or the United States of America. Only the people have power. Let us protect Boston. Thank you all so much. Let me now turn to Ruthie Louis-Jean, President of the Boston City Council.
Thank you, Senator Markey. Thank you, Mayor Wu. Thank you to everyone for being here. Boston is our city. This is our city. Now, I'm not a Baptist preacher, Reverend Brown, but I got to start with a little call and response. Right. Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Thank you. And I want to make sure that our president, the occupant of the White House, and I want to make sure the Attorney General hear that this is our city. And we can run our city. And we have been running our city. We are not going to be scared. We will not do what the president is doing every single day, engaging in bottom feeder politics, trying to use fear to make us think that we are doing something wrong when we know what works here in our city. We are a city for everyone. For the fifth generation Bostonian. For the person who recently came here, this is your city and you belong. We will say that every day. We will say that in every single language. and we will mean it, and we will put our resources behind it. Our immigrant communities are here, are working, and are contributing to our community, to our city every day, to our tax base, to our hospitals, to our schools, and they are making our city safer every single day. We will not believe the lie and the hype about crime. We know, as the mayor stated, that he is using these fear of crime to hide the fact that he cannot deliver for the American people, that he is failing every single day. Your groceries are not cheaper. Your kids are still having a hard time buying a home. School is too inaccessible for so many of our families. But yet he wants to lie about our American cities. He wants to lie on us in Boston, and we will not have that. We will not have that here in our city. We will not have that here on the Boston City Council. And I am so glad that I am here with a super majority of my colleagues. With Councilor Braden, an immigrant from Ireland. With Councilor Coletta Zapata, whose parents are from Italy and Mexico. Councilor Durkin with roots in Spain. Councilor Weber from a Jewish family. Councilor Mejia, Santana, and Pepin representing the Dominican Republic. Councilor Worrell representing Barbados and Jamaica. We are a city that is stronger because of all of who we are. And I am ever so proud every single day to be here to represent one of the most vibrant, one of the strongest immigrant communities that we have here in the city of Boston, the Haitian community. And my 7-year-old nephew is around here somewhere because it is important for him to see the city that we are trying to build every single day. And every single day we work a little bit harder. We try to do a little bit better than the day before. We are not saying that we are a perfect city, but we are working on it every single day, and we do not need to take any cues from a failing federal government. Not yesterday, not today, and not tomorrow. And on the Boston City Council, we will continue to do the work of every single neighborhood, from East Boston to Mattapan, from Mission Hill to Charlestown, and we will let you know that we represent you in every single way possible, and that we are going to continue to fight that the mayor talked about, one that believes in investing in childcare, in our schools, in housing, and believes that community safety works when our police officers are working with all of our communities, including our immigrant communities. And so I just want to make sure that people know that we are not backing down, that we know who we are, and that we are going to continue in this fight. And we have this beautiful representation of people here, from labor to our seniors, to our elected officials, to say that we are not backing down and that this is our city. And so I'm going to start to our veterans. We got Haywood Fennell in the house. Think about this. We have a president who is cutting the veterans budget. Like, how lower can you go? And so I want you to know that this Boston City Council, our mayor, our federal delegation stand with you every single day. Because when we fight, cuando luchamos, la nu batalla. Okay, thank you. Y'all got to work on your crayon, but thank you, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Good morning, folks.
Good morning.
How we doing?
All right.
All right. Well, I wasn't prepared to speak today, but when your mayor is such a boss, you come up to the microphone when she tells you to. So I'm so proud to be here today, and so proud to see so many different people here, such diversity, such a unique opportunity to show the world what Boston actually is. Boston isn't what you see on the movies and on TV and all that stuff. This is Boston. This is what Boston is, and this is the diversity that Boston represents. My name's Aaron Mikowitz. I'm a state representative and also the chair, House Chair of Ways and Means. And I represent, I know the senator left, but I represent that old North Church. My neighborhood in the North End is where the revolution started and where it continues to this day, every day. The spirit of it, everyone gets to see it, everyone gets to view it. But, you know, we're here to just send the message and to talk about exactly what's going on. Let's be clear. This is a distraction. This is nothing but a distraction to what's really going on in this country, okay? We are the safest major city in the country. The MAGA crowd doesn't want to hear that, but that is the truth. Those are the facts, and the facts matter. And in this city, we know how to take care of our own. We know how to keep it safe. And with our mayor leading the charge, we have been continuing to keep it safe. And the fact is that the Attorney General, who was originally from Florida, wishes when she was the Attorney General of Florida, had the crime statistics that we have here in Massachusetts. You want to talk about the real facts? The real facts are in Massachusetts, we have the lowest gun violence in the country. The president should take note of that. We should get a letter acknowledging that, shouldn't we? We take care of our mental health patients, and we invest in mental health. The president should take a look at that. He should acknowledge that. Those are the things that we are tackling and that we are working on. And those are the things that matter. And those are the things that actually get results and get things done. That is why the numbers don't lie. And we are going to continue to do that. And with this mayor and with her standing up to Congress and doing everything she's done, we will continue to be the leader and not just be a follower. And unfortunately, with everything else going on, there's a lot of following going on. But we're not going to follow. We're going to lead. And this city's going to lead, and our mayor's going to lead. Back to the numbers. The numbers don't lie. Again, the numbers don't lie. Gun violence across major cities. A lot of them aren't in blue states. A lot of them are in red states. And unfortunately, this president and this administration doesn't want to tackle the idea of gun violence, doesn't want to tackle the idea of real, true safety. And so until we do that, until our president does that, we're going to continue to have to deal with this, and we continue to have to stand up. And are we good at standing up? So I thank you for having me here today. And I just want to thank the mayor and thank the mayor for everything that she's done, for the fact that she stands up for us, whether it's in Washington or here every day. Thank you, Mayor Wu. You continue to be our leader that we're so proud of. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much to our elected officials representing city, state, and federal government. Now I'm going to read the lineup so you don't have to hear from me anymore. And if everyone can kind of remind everyone who's coming next up after them. Next up will be Mr. Haywood Fennell Sr., advocate for veterans' rights, leader in our community, change maker in so many different ways. He will be followed by President Jessica Tang of the American Federation of Teachers, Massachusetts, who will be followed by Michelle Pineda, who will be followed by former police commissioner of the Boston Police Department, Ed Davis, then executive director at the ACLU of Massachusetts, Carol Rose, and then President and CEO Kate Deneen of A Better City. Would you like me to
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Wu, for inviting me here as a veteran and a community worker in the city of Boston. I'm proud to be a part of Boston and the activities that the mayor and the Commission of Veteran Services have me involved. I just want to say that challenge is nothing new for Boston. There was a guy one time named Paul Revere riding around on a horse talking about the British are coming. Well, we got another British trying to come, but we're going to wait for them and we're going to deliver the goods. We're not going to slow down. We're going to mow down all the nonsense that's coming out of the dark house, no longer the White House. We have a man that is not a veteran that a lot call the commander-in-chief of distraction, trying to be the greedy one, and we're not going to have that. We will stand and demand dignity, respect for our mayor, for our city, for all these wonderful people that are here, that are members and descendants of people that came from places and spaces and made a place in Boston called home. We are ready for you, Attorney General. We will send you back to Florida after we teach you the lessons that you need to be taught. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Tang, and I'm a Boston mom. I'm a teacher. I'm a daughter of immigrants and a proud unionist representing the 25,000 members of AFT Massachusetts. And I'm also proud to serve as a vice president of the Massachusetts AFL-CIO. And we're here today to pledge our unwavering commitment to protect the safety, security, and rights of our residents and working people, and that includes immigrants, both in Boston and beyond. In the labor movement, we have a saying, an injury to one is an injury to all. And our call to action is solidarity. Boston is a union town, and we are proud that our union movement here is full of immigrants. And we know that immigrants are what makes Boston the safe, strong, and prosperous city that it is. Whether as a union healthcare worker, librarian, construction worker, driver, public safety worker, educator, hospitality, or retail worker, all of us contribute to making Boston a better place for all of our residents. As late Senator JFK said in his book, A Nation of Immigrants, quote, "Everywhere immigrants have enriched and strengthened the fabric of American life," end quote. The success of Boston is largely based on the success of the city's immigrants. 100 years ago, it was mostly Irish and Italian. Today, it's also Cape Verdean, Haitian, Albanian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Vietnamese, Chinese, and so many more. The diversity of our workforce was one of our city's greatest strengths. And in Boston, statewide, we've got the numbers to prove it. Immigrants make up 22% of our workforce, and nearly 30% of our state's entrepreneurs are immigrants. In Greater Boston, immigrants pay over $17 billion in local, state, and federal taxes. The ways that immigrant workers contribute to making our communities stronger, safer, and better are countless. Policies and practices that create fear and chaos in our communities, they make our neighborhoods less safe. They create economic harm and erode the fabric of the trust and security our communities need to thrive. So many of us here today have family members who came here seeking freedom and a better life. Boston is not just a union town, it's also proud to be the birthplace of democracy in our nation. And we will keep fighting, not just for working people, but for equity and freedom for all. We know our economy and our community are stronger because of our diversity and inclusivity, not in spite of it. And we will continue to stand up for the values and policies that continue to uplift all who call Boston home. And who calls Boston home? It's also our children and our students. So it is my great honor and privilege to introduce Michelle Pineda, a student in Boston Public Schools.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Pineda and I am 12 years old. I am a U.S. citizen and I was born in East Boston. I will start 7th grade at East Boston High School soon. My parents and I are members of Centro Presente. My mother and father are from El Salvador. They immigrated to the United States more than 20 years ago, fleeing the war and poverty like most immigrants. My parents are not criminals. They only came to this country to seek safety and to work hard. Last May, ICE detained my father unjustly while he was on his way to work. My father is a TPS holder and has no criminal records. Centro Presente organized a day of action and my father was released after 48 hours. This experience caused a lot of fear, stress, and anxiety to my whole family. Now I am afraid of the police because I don't want them to take my parents because I don't want to be left alone without them. When my father was detained, the ICE agent violated his civil rights. They told him that only people that was born here has rights. Last week, my father filed a civil rights complaint against ICE with the support of Centro Presente. And my mother and my father and I have raised our voice together in justice. We will continue fighting so that no more families are separated by those unjust police. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Ed Davis. I'm the former Boston Police Commissioner. And it's an honor for me to be here today supporting my friend Mayor Michelle Wu and people like Reverend Jeff Brown, who I work very closely with, trying to deliver the community and community policing. And my friend Carol Rose, who I work very closely with, trying to deliver the constitutional policing that the citizens of the city deserve. That's really what we need to concentrate on here. And I can tell you from my personal experience that long before I was the police commissioner, the city of Boston put plans together. The city of Boston put plans together and strategies that were executed here in the city that drove the crime rate down to unheard of numbers. And those numbers continue today. We are a safe city. I will tell you that 100 years ago, my grandmother immigrated here from Ireland. And I'll tell you that everybody deserves the opportunity to have police protection, no matter who you are, no matter what your status is. And I will tell you that the trust that's necessary to have an effective police force is being threatened with these policies. So I'm here to support what's been said so far today and to thank you for all paying attention to this. Our very civil rights depend on it.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. My name is Carol Rose. I'm the Executive Director at the American Civil Liberties Union of Massachusetts. You know, I like to say that democracy is a muscle, and the more you flex it, the stronger it gets. And we here in Boston, we're all about that flex. Yet again, the Trump administration is trying to bully state and local officials into supporting a cruel agenda. Yet again, the city of Boston is being threatened for making the lawful choice to prioritize local public safety over federal immigration policies. And yet again, instead of guidance and support and statesmanship, the Trump administration is offering only fear and invective against their fellow Americans. And it's no wonder that he targets cities, because cities form the backbone of our democracy. Cities make America great, and Boston is the greatest city in America. And no matter what Pam Bondi says, the law is clear. Boston has every right to focus on serving its residents and not voluntarily helping ICE detain and deport people. The 10th Amendment, as Senator Markey said, and the Supreme Court precedent affirm the federal government may not compel cities and states to do its bidding. And there's a good reason why local officials are prioritizing the needs of the people, because Boston knows best what Boston needs. Boston knows what keeps Boston safe. We know the policies like the Trust Act and welcoming city ordinances keep our residents safe. We know the indiscriminate arrests do not. And we know that the way to face down a bully like Donald Trump is to show moral clarity and courage. And that's what we're seeing from Mayor Wu here today. We saw that same moral clarity and courage back in March when she testified courageously before Congress. And that's why she's here again today doing the same. But it isn't just about our elected officials alone showing up. It requires all of us to have Boston be strong. It's about the law firms and the universities and the labor unions and the grassroots organizations standing together, forming a united front, building community and choosing community over chaos. It's about the state and federal judges who are still working enormously, challenging the policies of the Trump administration. Because there's one thing I've learned at the ACLU, and it's this: when you have the Constitution on your side, you don't back down, no matter what the bullies say. And we should know the ACLU has filed over 115 challenges to the Trump administration's horrible policies. And we're organizing across Massachusetts to make sure that people everywhere know their rights. And if you want to find out more about how you can get a Know Your Rights training, let us know. Contact the ACLU at aclum.org. We're working with elected officials, community partners, and the mayor to make sure that we uphold the Constitution and the law, because the ACLU isn't going anywhere. Neither is Massachusetts, and neither is the city of Boston or our people. So let me just ask again, whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Boston Strong. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Kate Deneen to the stage.
I wanted to mention that I forgot to and didn't know, but wanted to recognize State Representative Amy Massangelo is also here. Thank you for all that you do. And after Kate, we will hear from Devin Morris, who is the Executive Director of the Teachers Lounge and a Commissioner for the Black Men and Boys Commission for the City of Boston. Here we go, Kate.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Wu. Good morning, everybody. Kate Deneen. I'm president and CEO of an organization called A Better City that is based here in Boston. We represent about 130 business leaders who are united around the common goal of creating a more vibrant, competitive, sustainable, and equitable city for all. We focus our work on the built environment, so investing in our infrastructure to build a better city and region. And we believe in the power of cities to drive progress and innovation and economic growth, and to unite us, not divide us. Our city of Boston drives our region, and our immigrants drive our city. From learning at our world-class universities, to powering our world-class hospitals, to building our world-class skyline, Boston is a global city because of, not in spite of, our immigrant communities. The vibrancy and strength of our economy is a direct reflection of every single person who has come to our city and made it home. I'm going to put some numbers behind this because we are a business group. According to a recent Boston Indicators report, immigrants contribute roughly $103 billion every year. That's about 21% of regional GDP, and comprise 28% of all business owners in Greater Boston alone. And to state the very obvious, the current landscape of chaos and confusion is bad for business. Every time somebody is too fearful to commute to work, to pick up their child at school, to visit a loved one at a hospital, even to report to a scheduled immigration hearing, that destabilizes our economy and unravels our social fabric. We don't just need safeguards in place to protect our immigrant neighbors and colleagues who are already here, but we also need a system to welcome more immigrants, to encourage more people to bring their talents to Boston. We cannot grow an economy by shrinking our workforce. And as they say, that math ain't mathin'. So the economy has always been powered by people who come here with a belief in possibility. Turning our backs on that legacy means turning our backs on what has made us strong, Boston strong. So thank you to Mayor Wu, to the BPD, to the leaders who are here today for your efforts to build a stronger, safer, and more welcoming Boston for everybody. The success of our economy quite literally depends upon it. Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Devin Morris. I'm the co-founder and executive director of a nonprofit called the Teachers Lounge and the vice chair of the Commission on Black Men and Boys for the City of Boston. I'm going to take a slightly different angle to the same attacks on our city. I am not preaching to the choir right now. I'm talking to everyone outside the city of Boston who should be standing in solidarity with our mayor and with our Bostonians, all of us. Now, no one hates a fact checker more than our current president. Bringing in the National Guard to DC was said to be about homelessness. So then why are Black men being confronted on our stoops and our porches? The Trump administration has sanctioned Giuliani's stop and frisk all over again. DC is home to 700,000 residents. 40% of them are Black. It's called Chocolate City for a reason. DC crime is going down at a rate 25% this year and 35% last year. Their biggest spike in crime happened to be on January 6th. And yet, the National Guard was not called in. What we know, DC is a test case for what can happen across the country. As my good sister Brittany Packnett Cunningham said, when they can strip democracy from 700,000 of our nation's capital, they can do it everywhere. The same way what's happening in DC is not about homelessness. It's not about crime. Neither are the threats against the incredible city of Boston. As Mayor Wu has said repeatedly, we are one of the safest major cities in the country because we are safest for everyone. If people are afraid to drop off their kids to school, afraid to call the police, the impact is stark for everyone. And if you think this is just about crime or immigration, I promise you it's not. There is a false narrative that immigrants are more likely to commit crime when research has shown repeatedly that there is no correlation between undocumented people and rise in crime. More importantly, this is a gateway and escape route for this administration. It's a gateway into more access to our city and our most vulnerable, natural-born citizens included, and namely Black and brown Bostonians. It's also an escape route for this administration. Fear-mongering, distraction allows them to continue carrying out Project 2025, threatening American cities led by folks of color. It's not a coincidence. The so-called border czar says sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. Sanctuary cities are unsafe for everyone. Some might say the White House has become a sanctuary for criminals. Let's start there. Fear, distractions, and misinformation only force us to ignore skyrocketing prices due to inflation. Ignore the elimination of health care, distract us from attempted theft on our hard-won voting rights, and dare I say, the Epstein files. We can never be too afraid to focus on the dismantling of our democracy. You cannot win a fight that you don't show up for, and you cannot win a war alone. This moment requires communities to stick together. It requires information to travel freely, and it requires us to remember until all of us are free, none of us are free. Our mayor is fighting for all of our rights, all of us. Bowing to this administration would make us complicit in not only what happens to our beloved Bostonians, but what will then be replicated in many cities across the country. The fight starts now. The fight starts here in Boston. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our speakers and to everyone who's joined us this morning. Is there a question or two from the media? Good.
For any contingencies if federal funding is cut, what's the plan for that?
The language of the letter from the Attorney General's office makes it just up to the line that they are trying to use every source of pressure and leverage to coerce cities who will not bend to their will. We have seen that already in a number of different instances where we've gone to court or we have worked with our Attorney General Andrea Campbell and her office and the governor and all of our sister cities across the Commonwealth to put a stop in some cases to that unconstitutional overreach. With the example of our continuum of care funds, it was some $40-some million in annual grant funding that the city of Boston receives every year to tackle homelessness and to address issues for all of our community members who are experiencing housing instability. With a new directive that those funds then had to be compliant with executive orders that would prevent them from being used, for example, for our LGBTQ and trans neighbors or on Black and brown community members. We went to court and said, this is unconstitutional, and the courts agreed. And so those funds have been able to be used as they have been to take care of Bostonians and everyone who finds themselves in Boston. We have a similar situation with some of the public safety grants that have come up, the UASI grants, again, that the city has received for 22 years now to address counterterrorism, border security, and provide regional infrastructure for things like regional radio access so that all of our public safety agencies can communicate with one another. Now this year, they are attempting to add a requirement that a certain percentage of those funds must go to complying with border security, and they suggest with ICE. We have done our own legal interpretations that what we already do to address border security in patrolling the harbor and taking care of our residents in the same ways that we always have already satisfies border security. So we are going to continue to apply for those grant funds. And if they are rejected, although they have been awarded for 22 years for the entire region across Greater Boston, we will go to court again, and we will prepare those filings. And so where possible, we are leaning on the law, which is in our corner because Boston follows the law. There is some level of uncertainty, and the cruelty and uncertainty is the point from this federal administration. But when we're confronted with these impossible choices, do you stay silent and comply to try to avoid some unknown, uncertain, huge threat? Or do you take the risk but stand up for your community, for your people, and for what's right? I don't feel that I have a choice as mayor of this city. This city dates back nearly 400 years. This city has a history of standing up for what's right, of refusing to back down. Just a couple months ago, we were all in the North End celebrating the 250th anniversary of Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. And we heard from local historians, we heard from community organizations about what was running through Paul Revere's head, what was running through all of those Bostonians' minds 250 years ago. When he left his home in the North End, he had no idea if he would ever return to his wife and children. He had no idea if he would survive that night, much less live to a ripe old age into his 80s in the city of Boston and do a lot more good for our country. All of the founders that we think about now as founding fathers, and the mothers whose stories weren't included, the people of color whose stories weren't included, all of those founders had no idea that their actions, first with the protest, then with some tea in the harbor, then standing up, pushing back, would lead to a skirmish, a battle, a war, in which over the course of 8 years, they would give birth to a new country. All they were thinking about in that moment, that night, deciding whether to ride out, hang the lanterns, and spread the word, they were trying to do the next right thing for their families in that moment. That is who we are as a city, and that is what we are doing today. We are doing the next right thing for our Boston families and for our community members in this moment, and that is what we are going to continue to do. All right, last question. So the question was, you see people all dressed up, big smiles coming out of the federal building after they have taken the oath or even just filed the paperwork to become naturalized United States citizens. Why should people still do that? Why should people go through that process? Is that the right question? So the city of Boston, through our Office of Immigrant Advancement, runs a citizenship day in partnership with many community organizations every single year. And we were worried, we weren't sure what would happen this last year, Citizenship Day, with all of the fear and all of the threats out in the community. Would community members show up? Would people still want to become US citizens? Would people still show up and try to get help filling out those forms and get in that pipeline? Not only did we have a full house of community members signing up and getting in the pipeline to become citizens, for the first time, we were way oversubscribed for volunteer attorneys from our community stepping up to help and make sure that everyone could have that opportunity. But there are many here who could speak. I watched my parents become naturalized citizens some 20 plus years after they had already been in this country. And the deep meaning, the love for this country that comes from that level of sacrifice, that you're willing to give up everything to come here, to start over, to learn a new language, to leave behind everything that you know, because you believe and have faith in this country so much that you want your family tree to start growing here. there is nothing greater than that. But there are many organizations here who help with the citizenship and naturalization process. Does anyone, maybe I'll take one or two community organizations. Claire, do you want to say anything, or anyone else? Come on up, one or two people who either have become naturalized citizens, or who are working to help others do so. Sure. What would you like to say about this question of why should people still become U.S. citizens? How should they think about that process? Tell us your name.
Hi, I'm Damaris Velasquez, Director of Programs of Agencia Alpha, and thank you. We help people to become citizens of the United States because we still believe in the democracy of this nation. We still believe that this is a good nation. The fact that we have an administration that is trying to destroy the democracy of this country doesn't mean that that's going to take away the dream that we come with as immigrants. I myself am a naturalized citizen of the United States, originally from Guatemala, and I can tell you that whoever is telling people that immigrants don't want to become citizens or immigrants don't want to be part of this nation, that is a completely lie. The reason why we come here is because we know that we bring the best of our countries and we make the best of this nation as well. So people still have the dream. People still want to become citizens of the United States because people still believe in democracy in this nation.
Mayor Ballantyne just whispered to me that she became a naturalized U.S. citizen right in this very building as well. And I know so many of our elected officials are coming with that same love for this country. All right, thank you everyone for being here. We're going to keep going.